와우.
너무 소중해요.
어떤 일이 일어났는지 좀 설명해 주실 수 있어요? 어떤 걸 하셨는지 음악을 들으면서.
Well, what happened was there was a current that was moving between us because your heart was open to life source and so was mine. And that actually, we could feel that current moving and taking us into a deeper place where, as you spoke at the beginning, we are already one. Yeah.
뭔가 평소와는 다른 되게 저도 이 진동이 막 느껴졌어요. 이 가슴과. 예, 그래서 막 눈물도 나고 막 그랬는데, 어튠먼트를 모르시는 분들 위해서 이 어튠먼트가 어떤 건지 좀 설명을 좀 부탁드립니다.
Well, we could say that attunement is a spiritual practice that helps bring our bodies, minds, and hearts into harmony with their natural design. But I could say it's a healing practice, but it's much more than that. And it is a way of tuning into the power of the universe and letting that move through us. That's our natural state. That's how we were created.
그 우리의 본래 상태로 돌아가는 것이 어떤 것일까요?
To be one with the universe, to be one with each other, to be one with everything of nature. That is our natural state. And in that, to be fully creative and loving and kind and compassionate. Actually, that's one of the things I love most about attunement, is that actually in a relatively short time, if a person just lets go in relaxing into the present moment, we can come back into that original state of our true being. And it frequently causes wonderful sensations in the body. Like, for example, in my case, I have what I would call kind of delicious tingles throughout my body. But also sometimes people have colors that they see or images that come. Anyway, a feeling of bliss, of deep memory, of naturalness, of freedom, of oneness. Yeah.
이렇게 앉은 상태에서 이 어튠먼트를 좀 제가 경험해 볼 수 있을까요?
I want to show you how we work with this life energy. And so if you can also put your hands like I am, where it's as if you're holding a globe and in a relaxed way. And right now, just close your eyes and think of something beautiful or whatever helps you tune into the source of life. Okay, and you can move your hands closer and further away. And just notice what you feel in your hands, between your hands, or even in your body.
뭔가 평소에 잘 느끼지 못했던 어떤 느낌들이 있네요.
Usually we move our hands more slowly. There's energy in between our hands, and you can feel it as you move further out and in. Okay. So maybe I should also explain a little about what is happening here. With attunement, we work with the life energy current more or less like it's electricity. And it's moving as in a battery between the positive pole, which in this case is the giving hand, and the negative pole, which is the receiving hand. So the energy is moving between two poles. And particularly when we tune in to our source of life, the more centered we are in that, the more powerful is the current that comes through. Mm-hmm. So that's just a basic beginning of attunement. So a little later, I think we'll do more with that. So we can.
이런 에너지는 막 우리를 둘러싸고 있고 우리가 그 속에 이제 그 흐름 속에 있는데 그걸 잘 못 느끼고 살아왔구나 이런 생각이 드네요. 이런 에너지 흐름을 잘 느끼면서 살면 우리 삶이 어떻게 달라질까요?
Well, much more joyful, much more peaceful, much more stable, and also more creative and more feeling more yourself and able to handle challenges more wisely. Mm-hmm.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, so there is wisdom available to all of us from, you could say, from our innate being, or you could describe it as from heaven or from universal consciousness. But because there's so much interference in, you could say, like noise, we don't hear that. But when there is stillness and we're really tuned in, this source of wisdom, we discover it's really there. And it's not just limited to ourselves as we think of ourselves as an individual human being. It's the wisdom of the universe. So it's constantly there, but very few people have learned how to tune into it. When you learn how to tune into it, wonders unfold because you discover that there's a greater intelligence far beyond what our minds are capable of.
이게 어떻게 보면은 좀 특별한 뭐 에너지 수련 이렇게 보이기도 하는데 이걸 정말 누구나 할 수 있는 건가요?
Well, can you breathe? So, can you open your heart to love and beauty? If you can do those things, you can do attunement.
Wow.
So, for example, people who have a pure heart, who are, let's say, open and not, let's say, hard or not closed, usually they very naturally feel attunement very soon whenever we offer them attunement. For example, even once when I was in Japan, a young man that I met during a seminar I was offering, he had been helping his mother for a long time because she had problems with her legs. And even though he had very little training by us, when he offered me an attunement, I felt a powerful current because he was already doing something similar to attunement. He just didn't know attunement in the form that we teach it, but he had the essence of it.
이 어튠먼트는 어떤 형식으로 진행되나요?
Giving attunement one person to another, in my experience, is the most powerful form of attunement because there's an increased energy field between two people. Each one has their own energy field, but when you put them together, there's yet another energy field. And that magnifies, so 1 + 1 is at least 3, and if they themselves tune in to the power of the universe, then it can go to 1,000. And then there's also attunement to ourselves, And there's also attunement, which we call distance attunement. And that's actually very powerful too. I'm attracted to say about giving an attunement one person to another. So first of all, one person is giving the attunement and the other person is receiving. It's actually to learn how to give attunement. It really helps to learn how to receive attunement. So even though one is giving and the other is receiving, the receiver makes a big difference in what happens in the attunement. So principally, it's a matter of deeply relaxing into attunement with the source of life and letting go, which is actually something that a lot of people don't know how to do that well. So you're totally relaxed, but you are fully alert. And you are just noticing what you feel, particularly in your body, but also whatever comes. For example, sometimes images come, sometimes insights come. Just letting it flow, whatever sensations emerge. And as we touched a little earlier, this can be a tremendously profound experience. So I'm now describing what the receiver does. The giver, it's very important that the giver comes into their deep center of attunement with Source. So usually people spend a little moment to be sure that they are truly centered. And once centered, then it's mainly a matter of emptying our mind and heart, at least as a start. That's a good practice. For more advanced attunement practice, we do go into a little bit more of what goes on inside of a person when they're giving attunement. But when we simply empty, we're centered and we empty our mind and heart, then we're like a channel for the universe to pour through us love and life. And the more we are an empty channel, the more that power can come through us. And in attunement, even though many people experience healing, we don't try to heal. We trust the power, the wisdom of the universe to do whatever is needed. So that also brings a relaxation because you're not trying to make something happen. You're just cooperating with the natural flow of the power that moves our whole universe, which is very powerful.
그런 경우에 이제 이 사람에게 좋은 이제 그 영향을 주고 싶다라는 내 의도가 막 생길 수도 있고, 혹시 이게 뭔가 이렇게 좋은 작용이 일어나지 않으면 어떡하지? 막 이런 생각도 들 수 있을 것 같은데, 그런 생각도 이제 하지 말아야 되는 건죠?
So yes, we let go of any intentions to heal or worries, but also as much as possible, just focus on the present moment and the energy current that is moving through you, and then let come whatever comes. Guilt and worry and self-blame, those are things that actually take us out of the present moment. Some people who practice meditation, when they have experienced attunement, they have told me that it's much easier for them in attunement to reach the state of stillness of mind. But in attunement, we don't focus on quietening our mind. We just simply appreciate what is moving and feeling it, not only through our bodies, but through our hearts, sensing what we do with our minds. So it's a different way of actually quietening your mind.
이렇게 1대1로 어튠먼트를 하다 보면 그걸 이제 주는 사람도 되게 좋은 작용이 있을 것 같아요.
Excellent realization. That's right, because it is a flow of energy, and actually the giver can receive as much as the receiver. It's never really me giving the attunement. I'm the channel through which the attunement current flows. So all I have to focus on is being an open channel. Yeah.
그렇게 많은 생각들과 이런 의도들을 좀 내려놓기 위해서 좀 어떻게 해야 할까요?
Usually when I offer attunement to someone, especially if it's a person new to attunement, I do invite them to breathe slowly and deeply and to just focus on the movement, how that feels in our bodies. So that's one way that you can stop your mind from running off on its usual tangents.
셀프 어튠먼트를 좀 설명을 자세히 못 들은 것 같은데 셀프 어튠먼트에 대해서 좀 설명을 좀 해주시겠어요?
The person we are most intimately connected with all the time is ourselves. And we know ourselves better than anyone. And we also know we need attunement. So when we offer ourselves attunement, we're actually, just by that action, stepping into our being, our true being, our center, to give attunement to our bodies, to our minds, to our hearts, to our expression in life. So that is also very important, and it helps you intensify the regular practice of attunement. Okay, so how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so as we did before, hold your hands as if you were holding a globe. And it's also good to be relaxed, which it looks like you are. So let's take a moment through perhaps thinking of something beautiful or whatever other way helps you come into attunement with the source of life.
그러니까 자기가 개인적으로 뭔가 되게 좋아하는 거나 좋아하는 사람 혹은 뭐 그런 걸 떠올려도 되나요?
Yes, that's fine. The key is, the important part is something that naturally brings up gratitude, because that connects you really to heaven. Okay, so let's just take a moment to do that. And also breathe slowly and deeply. That brings your body into this current, relieves the tension. All right. Then one very simple self-attunement is to put your hands around your head like this. And just take a moment to notice what you feel. And you can move your hands to different parts. If you have a headache or if you are confused, doing this head attunement is quite helpful. And in this position with your hands to the side, if you're lying down, it's very easy. Sitting up, it's not comfortable for very long.
어튠먼트에선 손을 좀 많이 활용을 하네요. 이 손의 어떤 의미, 이런 건 어떤 걸까요?
You know, even if you just think of it in terms of the blood vessels, especially at the tips of the fingers, certain kinds of photography can show that there's an intensified energy field, but also through the whole of the hand, there's an intensified energy field. And, well, we use our hands to do most creation. So this is where our energy of reaching into and around situations comes to focus. We can also use our eyes, but it's a more advanced step to teach people to use their eyes for giving attunement. So the energy field between the hands is intensified. Well, if you attune to your source of life, to whatever degree, that will increase the current of attunement that's coming through your hands. So whatever stage you are at, something creative can happen. With attunement, we often work through, as one of the beginning parts, through the endocrine glands. And we see those not only as a primary control mechanism for the physical body, they're actually very important, but also as a portal for spirit to come into the material world. Let's do simple self-attunement with our giving hand, which is usually the hand that people write with, the plus hand, over 2 endocrine glands here. Just hold your giving hand there. It's the adrenals and the aisles of Langerhans in the pancreas, but it's also a place where the solar plexus chakra is. And in attunement, we also work with the chakras. So here's the giving hand, all right? And then the receiving hand, the minus hand, is here. This is the thymus area and also the heart chakra. So if you just hold your hands like this, breathing slowly and deeply. So just notice what sensations come, anything that comes through, anything you perceive with your body, your heart, your mind. So breathe in deeply and breathe out slowly. Breathe in and out. And as you continue that, notice how your chest and belly swell with the breathing in, and then they lower with breathing out. And as you do that, notice how that feels in your body. How there's a rhythm, almost like the waves of the ocean, rising and falling. So when we breathe deeply and slowly, we are giving ourselves an attunement through our breathing as well. If you use this position lying down, it can be more comfortable to just rest your hands in that place. And if your arms are not as long as mine, it's okay if you're not quite all the way there, but just like that, for example. This is a wonderful position for going to sleep.
뭐 회사 생활을 하거나 이렇게 조직 속에서 다른 사람들과 막 굉장히 정신없이 이렇게 살아갈 때 이런 어튠먼트의 지혜가 어떻게 도움이 될까요?
Well, it can help us come into the present moment and be still and access the wisest course in the moment. When we are scattered in our thinking, we don't usually choose the wisest course. And also, it helps take us to a higher level, higher perspective. So we can see things from a higher perspective, which allows us to find pathways that we would never see if we're down at the level of the problem. The potential of each person is so much larger than people imagine. When we become an open channel, we are actually opening to the vast wisdom of the universe, which knows a whole lot more than our minds ever could. So for example, we meet people that we never would have thought we would meet, never even thought about, and that opens more creative potential. And together, we can do things that are beyond what we had ever imagined. So it really does allow us to live more happy and fulfilling lives, to handle challenges that come, because it's not, of course, on this planet, we're not going to find a situation where we have no challenges, but we learn how to turn those challenges into victories.
사람들과의 관계에서 되게 상처받고 어떤 말이나 행동으로 인해서 되게 힘들어하는 분들이 많은데 어떤 사람들의 부정적인 영향을 받는 것으로부터도 좀 더 좋은 그런 도움을 받을 수 있을까요?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, so first of all, attunement helps us come into our true center, and it puts us in a stronger place so that the negative influences from the environment don't affect us. They don't bother us so much. And we also learn, as in distance attunement, what other, let's say, other person's inconsiderate or hurtful behavior, how instead of reacting to that, we can actually enfold that person in an attunement current with understanding and compassion. So it puts us in the place of strength as a creator instead of weakness as a victim.
그러니까 영향을 많이 받는 존재에서 영향을 주는, 좋은 영향을 주는 그런 존재로 좀 달라지겠네요.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to describe it. In a way, we become cause. We can cause things to resolve, to heal, to lift up.
생활 속에서 어튠먼트를 이렇게 활용할 수 있는 그런 팁 같은 게 있으면 좀 설명 부탁드립니다.
Well, like you in this interview, the energy that you bring through your voice, through your eyes, through your atmosphere, that is a very creative, warm, and loving, and kind, and considerate energy. And we can do that with people through our interactions, even if we are not talking, just a look, actually looking at people, and smiling, and of course, through our voice when we're on the phone or computer, Zoom, that kind of thing. And, you know, it makes a difference because everyone is tuned in to the sounds and feelings much more than they realize, actually. So it impacts them in a creative way when we're consciously sending an attunement current of love.
외형적으로 이렇게 뭔가를 하는 행위처럼 보이지 않아도 그냥 일상생활을 하면서도 내가 그 어튠먼트를 하는 것이 될 수가 있는 거네요.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
어튠먼트를 잘하기 위해서 평소에 뭐 어떤 연습을 해야 될까요?
One that I want to focus on is there are two important, very important times of the day. First, when we wake up, and second, when we go to sleep. And, you know, actually many people overlook how important that is and generally rush off after they get out of bed, and then the rest of their day is rather stressful, and then they come home and they're exhausted and they may just flop into bed. So if we have a practice that brings us to stillness and peace, that uplifts and energizes us, it makes a huge difference in our lives and therefore how we can offer attunement. Let's take in the morning, even if a person has only 15 minutes, of course longer is better, but even if just 15 minutes, doing something that actually energizes and uplifts you makes a huge difference. And that might be reading or listening to something that inspires you, or journaling insights that come in the moment. It might be meditating. It might be just listening to what is coming from the invisible in the moment. It might be praying. It might be blessing. I want to say a little more detail on is blessing. Just say, for example, one way we can do this is between our hands in an attunement current, say the names of people who bring blessing to us, who make our lives brighter, who support us. And through saying their names, you discover how many people bring love and meaning into your life. And also, through saying their names in a spirit of blessing, of appreciation, you're sending them energy and gratitude that is helping them. So this helps you feel more connected with people, and also to know that actually there's a lot supporting us, so we are really not alone. And that kind of practice of blessing gives us a greater sense of oneness. And we are actually meant to share attunement together, to live in attunement together. Much more fun.
이렇게 다른 사람을 축복하고 감사하는 것이 우리에게도 도움이 많이 될까요?
Yes. Actually, whenever we feel gratitude, we are connecting to our center. And we are connecting to much more, to the source of life. Gratitude automatically connects us. So when we appreciate, we are connected to the power of the universe. And when we bless, we are actually letting that come through us to others. And when we do, we are blessed too. We're the first ones to receive it.
나에게 굉장히 좋은 일이 생기거나 누가 나에게 되게 잘해줬을 때 그때는 되게 감사하는 마음을 내기가 쉬운데, 이제 일상생활에서는 그런 감사할 거리가 그런 걸 잘 찾지 못하는 경우가 많은 것 같은데요.
So I have a suggestion for that. In the evening, I said there are 2 times of the day that are important. Before you go to sleep, spending time being thankful for your day. Whatever happened that you could be grateful for. What you did well, what you accomplished, who made your life a little brighter, whose life you made a little brighter. All those things increase the feeling of gratitude and the ability to be thankful. So when negative things happen, which they often do, if we have a very active practice of thankfulness, of gratitude, then immediately when there are negative things that happen, we start tuning into what can I be thankful for. And that is extremely powerful, because it redirects your attention away from the negative thing to the positive things, which then helps you see how to handle the negative things.
이게 떨어져 있을 때도 어튠먼트가 가능하다고 하셨는데 되게 어떤 원리로 그렇게 될까요?
Yes, so the principle behind distance attunement is that we are already connected. And we're connected telepathically at a deep lower level, subconsciously, but we're also connected at the level of awareness or being or superconscious. So through those already existing connections, like the magnetic force fields on the planet, we actually are much closer in our connection with people than you usually think about. So especially if you have a heart connection with someone, anyone who's ever touched your heart, you have a heart connection with that person. And across that heart connection, you can give attunement. So again, hold your hands as if you're holding a globe. And come into attunement with the source of life or spirit or God, whatever word you want to use. And now begin to feel the energy field between your hands. In other words, focus your attention on what you actually feel between your hands. And if you wish, you can move your hands closer and further away, or just hold them still. And now consciously put love and kindness and care into that energy field between your hands. And notice, what do you feel? And now choose a person that you want to send attunement to. It might be a friend or a family member. And imagine that that person you are holding between your hands in that energy field. You can imagine that person's face. What do you see? And feel the love and gratitude that you have for that person. What are some of the precious things that you really love about that person? And also, what challenges the person might be facing that they need your support. And with your breath, you can also consciously send blessing as you breathe out, breathing blessing into this field of energy between your hands and to the person. Perhaps you can feel something in that person coming into deeper peace. And to close that, you might specifically, but silently, say words that extend your blessing to that person. Maybe in Korean it would be 축복합니다, bless you, or 감사해요, thank you, 사랑해요, I love you, 함께합니다, I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm really with you. And then one way to close that, there are many ways, but one way to close that, and you'll probably need to open your eyes to see this, is just take the energy and lift it up and send it off into the universe, the power of life.
Wonderful.
So with that kind of distance attunement, we can put many people into that space. We can include the whole world. Sometimes in different groupings, we might work with, say, some situation that is a problem in the society or a political situation. or people who are kind of under the gun. So there are many, many things that you can do with distance attunement, and it's particularly effective with people that you have a direct heart line with.
지금에 있던 이 흐름을 좀 이어서 세상을 좀 축복하는 그런 어튠먼트를 좀 간단히 해주실 수 있으시겠어요?
Yes, that's a really good one. So would you like to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, so again, let's hold an energy field between our hands. And it's okay if you have your hands relaxed on your lap too. After all, we're going to hold the world. It's pretty big and heavy. All right, so first connect deeply with your heart to the power of life, the power of the universe, and feel that power that creates our planet, the stars, the galaxies, the universe. That vast power of life is well capable of holding even all the many challenges that we have on this planet. So first feel that vast power, that vast creative power. And let it come to focus between your hands. And then perhaps, if it's all right with you, each of us could name something that is happening in our world now. Would that be okay? Okay. So I bring in for attunement the healing that can happen in America between people of different races and different economic status, that there may be a deeper sensing of oneness, of honor and respect for the dignity of life in each fellow human being.
우리 사회를 올바르게 이끌어가고자 하는 그 많은 시민들, 깨어있는 시민들을 축복합니다.
아주 중요해요. 고마워요. I join you deeply. Truly bless all those who are helping to bring greater freedom, justice, kindness into this beautiful country of Korea.
맞습니다.
눈물 너무 소중해요. Oh, so beautiful.
혹시 지금 이렇게 내면에서 올라오는 어떤 메시지가 있으세요? 이 영상을 보시는 분들께 좀 전하고 싶으신 메시지가 있으시죠?
Truly, you are precious. If you could see yourself through the eyes of, let's say, your guardian angel, if you could see yourself through the eyes of the vast love of this universe, you would see that all the things that you think are not good enough or are bad are just part of what is unfolding for you to grow and learn, but that you are truly precious as a newborn baby, alive with such vibrant life, and your heart is full of love and wonder. When you look in the night sky and maybe you can see stars, or you look at the sunrise or the sunset, you're looking at yourself. You are looking at aspects that are of who you are. Because we are truly connected to the whole universe. And that is within you. It is the being that you are. And you are part of all that is shining and radiant, full of life. So hold yourself with compassion. The world as it is not easy. We all know that. And there are many challenges, but congratulate yourself for any victory you have, no matter how small, because that's a step towards greater life and towards a brighter world. Don't be so hard on yourself. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Find things that are beautiful, many beautiful and precious qualities that are yours. Notice them. Appreciate them. Actually express appreciation to yourself. And as you do that, you will see that you're holding yourself as if you were holding a very small child. And that is actually the reality of how we need to hold ourselves. As a loving parent holds a precious child. 축복합니다. 너무 소중해요. 진짜 너무 소중해요. I'm imagining through this camera lens many, many eyes, so beautiful, connected to many, many people in their lives. 감사합니다.